chop this wood a little bit. Sorry, pardon me, man. Pardon. You should have cut that out. Hey, Billy Bob, cut that out, man. But anyway, just so you know, I'm helping a bunch of my buddies cut some wood. They got to get this job out. And I told them I'll help them. They're good friends of mine. So, of course, I'll be there to help them. But anyway, you're thinking about starting a business? Just want to let you know, there are many things you should think of before you start a business plan. I want to be upfront with you. I hope you didn't click on this thinking you're going to see some dude in a suit with a ruler holding it up to a chalkboard taking you through the evolution of a business plan. No. However, I will in a couple later episodes. I want to really take you through a business plan, line item by line item, figuring out the business name, everything. But I also want to point out that it can be used like a GPS. For those of us in the creative trade industry, I also want to mix into it what I learned from my friend Lawrence, who shared with me about treasure mapping your life. And we combine all these things. It's just so you know, I know you think you do the business and then you go live your life. It's going to be very hard to separate these two when you're just starting out. Just want to be clear about that. And I don't want to throw a wet blanket on your dream. I want you to be better. I want to be that friend of yours you haven't met yet. And I really want to focus on the window period of time where you should be making this decision, thinking about should you take action and start doing little steps at a time to do this. I just want to let you know this window is very vital before you do a business plan. I want to know, I want to try to find out and know if you are committed to doing this business. This is no joke. Hey, listen, don't tell me you got tattoos and you're afraid of commitment. I know I told you I'm a friend I haven't met yet, but I will definitely throw some shade on you with the quickness. You have to be committed to this. I want you to figure out some certain things before you do this business plan. Like, should you leave your job with all the benefits and everything, then start a business? You graduated college or school or something. Should you start a business? You just came out of some sort of personal tornado of struggle, whatever that it might be that affected your drama-free life. I don't know what it is. But there's a period of time before you start a business. All I'm asking you to do right now is start getting some things in order. Get your ducks in a row. I also want you to consider, are you going to be like a service-orientated business where you just get a truck and maybe you want to do repairs, maybe you just want to do installations? Do you want a full-blown custom shop that starts from measuring, building, to installation? Do you want a brick-and-mortar store? Or maybe even an online store and make little projects in your garage? I don't know what it is you want to do, so I'm going to be talking about it. You're probably going to hear me repeat the same thing, but almost know this. All I care about is you. I just want you to be better. So many people helped me. The least I could do in between jobs that I'm working on right now, I could come over here and share a little bit about with you to make you be better. Because that's all we really want to be, right? We want to be better. But think of some things first. Like, you could think about the name that gets you all excited. I admit, I was like, yeah, what am I going to name my business? What am I going to do this? What am I going to do this? But try to think about, after you figure out what type of business you want to do, you also got to figure out what kind of product you're going to make. And then after you really say, yes, I want to make tabletops, well then go out and practice tabletops. But I want you to be clear of the costs of the materials. Keep track of your time management, because this will help you later on when you really open a business about your quoting procedures in your sheets should a potential customer want that material. Are you going to hire helpers? I mean, all these things got to be considered. My favorite is, are you going to offer free estimates? Really? Can you afford free estimates if 50 potential customers call you? I couldn't at the time. I was just going crazy, pulling my hair out. But I don't know. I don't know how much capital you got to start up your business, but I just want you to think of certain things that might crop up when you don't have time, because in the beginning you will be working in the business. I don't know if it's 8 to 10 hours a day. I worked way more than that. And then when you go home after the work day's over, you now got to work on the business, not in the business, on the business. Then even when you're trying to relax and have dinner with your family or watch TV, it's always on your mind. I just want to let you know these things, you know. And one of the things I used to be, I remember this, it would be hard. A customer called me and wanted all this stuff. I always had a awkward, uncomfortable feeling about asking someone what their budget was. Because I'd spend all this time drawing the cabinets. I didn't have 2020 software back then. I was literally drawing it with a ruler and pencil, the draws, and the material selection, all on a free estimate. I didn't get the job. You know what I mean? And I found out their budget was only $2,000. Meanwhile, after I drew everything up, calculated all the materials, it was something like a $20,000 job. I wasted all that time. What if 50 people do that to us? So be careful of these free estimates. I'm not saying don't do them. I'm just saying, wherever your location is, are you going to go like 50 miles around? Anything else, you start charging a gas tank or two? Are you going to do the whole county? Or are you going to do the whole state? So just, these are things that happen because once you start a business, you might not know it, but it's like you're on the side of a mountain and there's a little snowball up top, and then it starts coming down and getting bigger and bigger. And then you either run for it, run away from it, or you kind of gotta like hold it at ease. But if you have all these forms in order and following your GPS, you might know how to avoid that thing from getting so big so fast. You understand? Keep that in mind. Long story short, I got so much more to share with you, but I gotta get back and help these guys. Just know this, I'm here to help. At the end of this session, I'll have a little Q&A. You could ask me questions in the comments, but know this, I might not know the answer, so I hope you can understand that I won't fail. I just might not know the answer, but maybe we could search it out and find it together, and then you can give me the answer. We help each other, okay? Your future self is dependent on you right now. So, after this video, start getting your mind right. Start getting your mind right.
Mr. J, Mr.
Hold
J.
on.
And Mr. J, why don't you get your mind right? You said you'd help us. Why don't you help the friends you have already, man?
I know, I'm helping over here.
Jeez, golly, help us already. And you talking all that smack to them people without commitment? Man, help us, will you?
Yeah, Louie, you're right. All right, I gotta get back to work. Okay, your future self is dependent on you right now. Your future family or your family is dependent on you right now. I want you to be in control of your finances. I want you to be in control of your life. I want you to be better. Keep watching.
Mr. J, Mr. J.
Sup, dude?
you want to start a business? Awesome. Are you in existing business and then pulling your hair out like I was? Because I didn't start a business, man. When I started my business, said, I got this. But maybe you're like at a job and you're like, I got all my tools. Dude, I got to get out of here. I don't know, they're cutting me of hours. It's just a pain in the ass. So I think maybe you're a little bit smarter than I was if you want to get a business plan before you actually start a business. But me and a lot of my friends, we just got this. I'm badass at my craft, and they're badass at carpentry and tile and stucco and all that stuff. But they run into the same problem I do. And I don't know your story. I don't know if you're good, you're an artist, or you're a craftsman or a craftswoman that is really good at one specific thing, like you only do cabinets, you only do stucco, you only do painting. I don't know what your story is, so bear with me because I'm trying to talk to you. You're starting a business, thinking of starting a business? Awesomistic. I got your back. You laughing at me. See how I can handle pressure? Okay, hold on. How about now?
I'm sorry, Mr.
I'm
G.
popping you in the head with a noodle. Huh? You want an egg on the side of your head? I used to crash the plane and then get all pissed off that nobody taught me even how to fly a plane. But I'm going to try to help you fly your plane way better than I tried, all right? And don't worry about making mistakes in business or your life. Not trying to be better is the crime. Your book of life is not done. It's not over. So what if you had a bad chapter or two? We all went through some sort of tornadoes of struggles and made mistakes. But check it out. Your next few chapters can always be better. Sunshine every day makes a desert. Be better. Be better. Some people, they won't even take a shot at the basket just so they can tell everybody they never missed the basket. Look, changing your life is painless. The pain you will feel is your resistance to change. You got that? The pain you feel from changing your life is your resistance to change. That's the pain we're going to try to fix. Let's just have some fun building our crafts, learning how to be better. All I want for you is to be better in business and your life. What is it you do? You think you need some improvement there? Let's work through this.
You really want to take advice from this dude? What is he doing? Mr. Gene is a trip. Good luck learning. See ya.
Are you an artist? Are you a creative? Are you considered not just doing crafts, but consider yourself a craft? Are you a badass craft? Are you a craftsman or a craftswoman? Are you a fabricator? Are you a handyman? Are you involved in any of the skilled trades out there today? I salute you. We got a world to build out there. Now, maybe you work for somebody. Maybe you want to be a freelancer. Maybe you want to be side jobs. Maybe you have a dream and you are like me. I want to run my own business. Because when I worked for people, it's not that it wasn't fun. I made lots of friends with fellow contractors. It's just that what I wanted to do wasn't on the work orders. My boss didn't sell what I wanted to do. I don't know if that's good or bad. Maybe no one wanted it. But when I got into my own business, oh yeah, people wanted it. The abundance of attention I got once I started showing my craft to the world was overwhelming. It also pointed out I was very weak in the business skills. I felt like that was for someone in a suit to worry about. I needed to keep track of that. It's just as important as your craft, no matter how great you are at your craft. Think of this. Make 10 countertops. Now you gotta, how much money did you make? Are you gonna hire a helper? What is this corporation fee? Taxes? All this stuff. Do you want to pass that off onto somebody else? Even if you're in business, shouldn't you have a business plan? I loved what I do so much. I developed an ego to where I didn't worry about the business. It was always going to get taken care of someday. Well, someday came quick. I would hand all the receipts in a shoebox to my accountant and say, here, make sure I'm not in trouble. Tell me what I owe. Tell me how much I'm getting. Tell me what I can do better. But I had this friend, Bob and Lawrence, were always trying to help me. Guess what? They weren't even going to charge me for the help, and I denied the help. How crazy is that? If someone wants to help you without any expectation of return for helping me, other than me being a better person and a better businessman, I found fault with that. You know, if you find fault with someone that is trying to help you, you're a wingnut. Take the advice when it's given to you. If you don't know about it, don't pound your chest. I got this. By the way, that was me. I got this. I can do it.
We break it down into several areas. One thing we have to specialize in, and that is you. We have to be very, very precise in presenting you as someone who is not only competent in your various fields, but has received awards and recognition from the industry. That has to be a very prominent part of your business plan.
Absorb it. All Bob would simply say when I would constantly ask him for, call him like, hey man, guess what's going wrong? It would always come down to, well, Gene, do you have a business plan? No. A business plan sounded like something you do if you're trying to get people or investors to invest in you. I didn't want nobody to invest in me because I knew well enough that if you get someone to invest in you, you kind of have to do what they say. I mean, after all, I created my own business so I could have the freedom to create what I want to create. An artist might be great painting what he or she absolutely loves, but if they take money from an investor, the investor might say, hey look, bills ain't getting paid here, you need to start doing cartoons or something. I don't know, I thought an investor would say, hey, your countertops ain't working, let's get in the roofing. Meanwhile, I start my whole business and that's what happened. But it's not. It's a GPS. If you don't know where you're going, and you don't want to keep stopping at every place to ask where directions are, you set it on a GPS and you can guide where you're going. That's all it is. It keeps track of it. And even if you're in business and realize you were like me and now you just heard this and said, wow, I better get one, they have existing business plan templates that you can follow. They have quick ones, or I like the classic one now, the traditional. I like to have too much information. I don't like to try to remember things. I like my brain clear because I'm a creative. I like to do things that I haven't seen before. I like to try things I haven't done before. I like to be challenged. I'm not the best at what I do. I'm probably in the top 500, I would think, of countertops in the world, I think. If not, that's okay. I'm so happy today being who I am. I don't want to be anybody else. For a long time, I always wanted to be somebody else, or be the best, or be better than anybody. Mr. Gene's Shop Talk was simply created just to give back because so many people helped me. So many people gave me their time for freely. They spent time doing workshops. They talked to me. They showed me what to watch out for. With technology today, I'm going to do it this way. I just created this to help educate you, perhaps inspire you, but mainly train your mind to be aware of some things that I should have did better in business and better in my life. In my business, I should have prepared a business plan and keep it up to date. I needed to know, am I making money? Is this really a business? Or is this just a hobby shop? Or did I just create myself a job? And then everyone else I hire makes more money than me. I left a good job, making good money, to make less money and work more hours. Because that's what it's like when you start a business. I don't know where you're at in your life. Are you at that job and like, I want to show the world my craft? Keep in mind that little, purgatory or window part between leaving your job and starting a business is very vital. I really want to talk about that. That little window, that's when you should be learning. You should be practicing your craft. Don't practice your craft at the job you're thinking of leaving. They got workbenches. They got tools. Do you got that? They got space. Do you got that? They got a truck to help you install your craft. Do you got that? Take all these things down. Write them down. Get rough costs. It doesn't have to be to the penny, but you should know, okay, if I'm paying a building $2,500 a month, okay, how are you going to justify the rent? But wait, there's more. Yes, you have other costs. You've got insurance, you got corporation, you got taxes. Right down to having fire extinguishers in your shop. There's so many things to run in this business. And because I was so good at my craft, for some reason, I thought I was great at business. I really did. I mean, after all, I used to shovel snow as a kid. Oh yeah, and while all of my friends were shoveling sidewalks and people, I guess they were retired in the neighborhood, I guess, they'd pay them like $10 a pop. But I was smart. I knew the people that had to go to work in the morning after the snow plows literally buried their cars. I just hang out right over there, and I was able to get at least $20 to $40 a pop. That was smart. From there on in, I knew how to run a business. Of course, I didn't have to do all the preparation you do when you get income and profit and losses and all that, but that's how I considered it. But I didn't back then. I didn't have a business plan as a kid. Why? But with this business plan, keep it up to date. You're really gonna learn to enjoy it. Understand that thoughtless enthusiasm. I don't know if you had it. I just had it like a rash. Thoughtless enthusiasm may cause us some problems in our business and our lives. It was strongly suggested to me early on in business by some very dear friends of mine. I even call them family, Bob and Lawrence. Bob said to me, pretty much, I want to say, 9 out of 10 times he talked to me. Because when he talked to me when I was running my business, it seemed like everything was on fire. And I was asking him how to put it out. And he'd always follow it up by saying, do you have a business plan? No. Is there another way? I was trying every other way but the way.
That you may present this, to know that. It's still very nice to put it down in writing and put it there so they can see it all. I mean, we're talking, that could be a very...
Can we upgrade it just by taking pictures of the awards or something to throw into a business plan? Is that, I know that's never been done before, but just to help, is that...
Well, it would not be bad if you had a page of
the awards, awards.
little awards,
Yeah, that are
17
up there.
awards, or whatever it is.
With dates.
And perhaps the title of the magazines that you've been featured in, and even in the appendix, we could put a copy of several of the articles that you find to be very good and dynamic. We could add that to the business plan. We could say, see Exhibit 12, which will be a copy of the article in XYZ magazine.
And the current time, okay, I understand. And then also what I did was I made a video resume of what we are.
Okay.
He was showing me the path. Lawrence, however, was able to spot even something obviously more glaring than Bob was, because he's like, before the business plan, I think you should try a business course. I was actually offended at that. I'm like, nope. Because I remember when I was in high school and regular school, and the teacher would go, okay, tonight we got homework on algebra. Huh? I worked all day. What do you mean I gotta go home and do work? I got this. That's what I said to these guys that were just trying to help me. Bob would always say business plan. Lawrence, however, he's like, I think you need a little more work before a business plan. And I don't know how he was able to see that. When I was running around pulling my hair out of my head, what do I do? What do I do? Pretty profound, he was able to say, you need a little more help than just a business plan. He suggested business courses. To me, I felt the same pain in my stomach when the teacher at school told me I have to do homework on algebra. I didn't want that feeling, because if someone said, can you make me a concrete countertop with sea glass chips all through it? I didn't have that gut-wrenching feeling in my stomach. Know why? Because I love that. There are some things you're going to have to do so you can continue to do what you love. Even if you're in a relationship, you have to do some things to keep that thing going. It's the same thing. But I was like, nah, business course is what? Probably $1,500 or $2,000 and a bunch of bookwork. Nah, I got this. That's what I said to these kind people, friends, basically friends/family. I felt they were just helping me for nothing. But to prepare a business plan, I kept thinking for some reason it would be a week. Yeah, when you're dumb and you don't know any better, everything takes a week. It's just weird. Just a week, I don't know. But even if it was 2 weeks, done correctly, Bob would have even given me his time to help me and wouldn't have charged me. He would have just liked to see me stop pulling the hair out of my head or bothering him on the phone. Who knows? He never told me, but I know now, and I just couldn't listen. So weird. I don't know if you're like that. I don't mean to get all tapping into your mind or your feelings and all that. This is just telling you what's up. But I couldn't even do that. I was actually offended that I would even need one based on my big old business experience. After all, I shoveled snow as a kid. On some pictures of work and TV shows I put on there.
But that's fine for your website, but we want to incorporate some of that into your business plan.
So the customer,
a little. I mean, not a big, but a little. Here's what some prominent people have said, etc. Blah 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 blah, and people that will be recognized. Okay. Now, we want to talk about your training. You've been to school for Korean. You've been to school for whom? You've been to school for this one. You've been to school for that one. You have been certified by X, Y, Z, M, P, and R. All right? Okay. Because you are the company. Let's face it, you are the company. So we want to emphasize you in a manner that shows that you not only are a charming, handsome, blah, blah, blah person, but you're also a skilled craftsman. All right? that has been featured in movies, been featured in you got my point.
Yeah.
All right. Foundation of the corporation. Corporation will be another paragraph. Corporation, we incorporated in whatever year it is.
You know, that was my business experience. And then once in a while, for the Fruit Man, I'd paint a sign. I like doing artwork, you know, before graphics and all that came out. I'd paint like Bob's Tomatoes and Old Man Joe. Nothing to say I was in business. Lawrence strongly suggested business school or a course. I think at the time, public business courses may have been $2,000 a semester. I'm not sure, but like I said, I know it wasn't free. Even if it was, that means there's more knowledge, there's more time, maybe it's at an inconvenient time. If you don't pay, you're probably going to have to go during a work week, so it still really would have cost me. I'm sure I could have found cheaper if I would have even tried. I didn't even try. To prepare a business plan, I think, and you know what? My best thinking got me into this trouble, so it's kind of weird how I thought it wouldn't help. I didn't even try it, but I still thought it wouldn't help. How whacked is that? It might have taken me a week, just a week. Now I know I could do it in a week as long as I have the time, but I really like to be accurate. I think I was also concerned about the business plan, thinking it's just something new entrepreneurs create so they could quick show to an investor to try to get money to help their successful business or idea, whatever it is. And I remember not wanting that. Of course, I wanted the money, but I didn't want somebody else telling me how to run my business, or else why quit my job? I'm already in that world. If I can't do what I want to do, why do it? Just stay working for somebody and blah, 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 and do some side jobs on Saturday. But I didn't. I wanted to get out there. And I wanted to run a successful business. And I realized a little too late that just being good at your craft and then developing that ego doesn't automatically override the business. Because I wanted to know my numbers. Like today, I am a fanatic. I love business plans. Do you know more people will spend time preparing to go on vacation? Oh yeah. They will actually know what hotel they're staying at. They'll arrange to have their Ubers pick them up precisely at the time when the flight's coming. Some of them actually are able to set reservations across the ocean at a restaurant they're not even there yet at the time. And if I ask these same people, you got a business plan for your business? Nah, I got this. Isn't that strange? Something that you're going to be involved in at least 17 to 18 hours a day, whether you're working or not, it's always on your mind, and you won't get a plan. But just to go away for a week or two, you'll plan like crazy. Watch out for that, because that's what I had. This class, I was so defiant to do, I think would have probably cost me $1,500. I just don't know. Obviously, I don't know because I didn't go. I learned the hard way. Yeah, I'm not paying $1,500 for a week class. Sad, but true, and now kind of ridiculously funny. I probably would have saved over $300,000 had I went to that $1,500 business class. When I add up everything, I'm not talking about profits and loss and just all the costs, the mistakes, the overlooking, the not knowing what it is you need to know, but I don't know what kind of business you're going to run. I don't know if you're going to get a shop. You might just get a truck and do installation. You might be an artist, just work out in your house. I have no idea. I'm just telling you my experience, and hopefully through this next series I'm going to put out, it's going to be just focused on business. Most importantly, I just want you to be better. So many people helped me. So many people helped me that for some reason when I was in pain, I was able to hear the voice they told me 5 years sooner. I don't know why I didn't listen. Doesn't move by the light at the end of the tunnel. I only move by the fire under my ass. And I had to squash that shit. Because I don't want to live like that no more. I want to be happy. I want to be better. I don't want to be better than anybody. I want to be better than me. I want to be better than who I was yesterday, yesteryear. I want to be better. I want to smile. I want to be happy. Do you? Do you want your customers happy when they see your craft? I was actually offended when Lawrence and Bob suggested, because I was so busy showing, look what I can make. Look what I can make. Look at this countertop. It lights up. Look at this. I could put seashells in the countertop. How much does it cost? I don't know. What do you want? In my head, I was just charging them whatever the rent or the bill that was due. But that's how I did business. I'm not even embarrassed that I did. I made mistakes, but at least I tried.
And then we want to talk about where you get your business. Will be another paragraph. And that where you get your business will include some prominent interior designers, people that have ordered things from Texas, those tables from Texas. Remember?
Yeah.
I'm sure you do. And we want to feature that wonderful bar out there at the Marriott. Hilton, whatever. In the Hilton, Marriott by Hilton.
Yeah, Hilton.
Okay.
I think, and Breakers too.
Okay.
The Breakers.
And the Breakers. All right. We want to emphasize these are some of your clients that you have recently done business with.
So now I got business experience. I should have followed a path and not went through and made my own path without a lawnmower. I just was walking through the weeds and everything, and that's my story. But maybe you would end up that had you not listened to me. Go ahead, shout it from the rooftops. I don't want to run a business like Gene did. And I agree with you. All I got to do is tell you what I did and do the exact opposite. Boss, you will be fine. just get with it, okay? But I was actually offended so bad, and I think about that I would even need one based on my business experience. I told you about shoveling snow. I even remember when I was Christmas caroling. I'd get a bunch of the kids. We'd get a couple girls with us, and we lived in, I guess the kids call them projects. I just call it home, a bunch of brick buildings. Grew up with like 10,000 people on one city block in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and we had a ball. We had fun, but we had no money. And Christmas time came around, and of course, we're going to go knocking on all we call them rich people, but they were, I guess, what I now know as middle class. They just had one doors in front of their homes, not double doors and circular drives and fountains. But, to us, they were rich because all the kids had bikes. But we go ring their doorbell and just start singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or some song we know half the words to. And we made really good money as kids. But I know now the people just gave us the money to get us off their porch. We all sang like we drank broken glass. We just sucked. But we made money. And that was my business experience. Shoveling snow and singing terrible Christmas songs for people that were trying to celebrate the holidays. And then, because I was so good at my craft and I was so just proud to work with my hands, I loved strapping up my work boots. I loved this. Lawrence strongly suggested, though, I go to this business school. I was actually getting annoyed by it. Bob was a little bit more subtle. Hey, you need a business plan. And they were going to give me their time for free
Bob was going to help me line item by line item, help me at this, and I still denied that help. God, how crazy it was for me to miss out on that. Because I know it would have been the truth. Even if I didn't like it, even if I didn't, if seen I wasn't making money at one particular market I was trying to tap into, I would have found out I was wasting more money on customer inquisitions and just, oh my God, I'm doing more marketing than I'm making money or paying my overhead. And I needed to fine tune a lot of things. But if I wrote it down, I would have noticed that. I would have noticed that free estimates that I advertise was costing me more money for even getting a job. I would have noticed a lot of things. It doesn't mean I would have stopped free estimates, but it might have made me try to wrap it up quick instead of bringing every sample I have to a potential customer's house. I would have known all this. If this semester I would have attended, looking back, I probably would have saved, when I all broke it down, at least $300,000. Easy. So I would have had $290K in the good. But I didn't. But just like a business plan, even for my life, I had to find what's the good, the bad, and the ugly of my past mistakes. You might say, that was bad. I'm not selling that type of countertop no more. Like, I'm not doing undermount sinks anymore. I'm not doing seams where the customer wants. I'm having full control over the seams. This business plan would help you direct that. It would help you to charge. It would help you to justify, like, hey, I'm sorry, I know you're building a new home, Mr. and Mrs. potential customers, but just because your budget's $5,000, that doesn't mean you can get this brand of Vitrazo which exceeds $12,000. I'm sorry, that's not my fault. You know, but when you're new and you're excited to get out there and get your name out there, you gotta know your numbers. You gotta know your numbers. If you were like me, you'll say to yourself, I got this. I'm good at my craft. I can do this without a plan, which is also known as a GPS. It's also known as a to-do list. Perhaps the word business plan sounds like homework or some sort of chore. I get it. I don't want to mow the lawn or take out the garbage sometimes. But remember when you actually got done with that chore? Didn't you feel like you're not happy, but at least there's something you kind of understand you got it done? Nothing seemed to bother you. Got rid of them things that were on your plate, right? So why not do it for your business so you could continue sharing your beautiful craft with the world? You just gotta change. Listen, change is painless. I don't want to argue with anybody about it. It is absolutely painless. Now, you might feel some pain, but the pain you feel from this change is not the change itself. The pain you feel from your change is your resistance to change, your egotistical arrogance to want to change. Your ego tells you, I don't need help, I got this. That's the pain you're going to experience. I think I heard it somewhere in a movie, I don't know, but there's two types of pain. One that hurts and one that alters. But the pain you feel from changing is your resistance. That's it. Nothing seems to bother you when you do this, because even if you're going off course, you actually know it, and you could look for a detour just like on your GPS. And if things did, at least some things are off your plate now, right? But we're tough guys. We'll just keep taking hits, thinking it will all work out. I had to fix and put out fires constantly. When friends and family give you advice, listen to them. Especially from people who are doing financially fine and mentally fine. I'm just not attracted these days to people that are financially secure. In other words, if you're very wealthy and you don't want to help others come up and you're still an asshole, I ain't got any time for you these days. But these friends, Bob and Lawrence, they just wanted me to be a better me. That's all. Now I know. I'm not saying that you have to do what everyone tells you to do, but at least consider it. Don't just say, I got this. So what I'm doing now is going to tell you what I've been told by my friends and titans of the industry. Be better. Just be better. If you want to brush off what I'm saying, here's the thing. I get it. If you want to bust through walls instead of paths that help you live a better life and have a better business, I get it. If you're like I was, I know what you're going to do. I'm not going to do the told you so dance to you either later on. You'll learn like I did if you can take the hits. I too would beat my head against a wall trying to get over it. But if you made mistakes in your life and you make mistakes in your business, don't let that shit define you. Do not let it define you for who you truly are, who you truly can be. Just be better. Stop watching that instant replay footage crap you keep doing in your head. You made the mistake, it's an event. Every time you play it over your head, it's getting bigger, longer, and it's robbing you of area in your brain that you could put the solution in there. Keep moving. Stop running it through your brain. It's a waste of time. Mistakes can be awesome once you realize and admit to yourself they were mistakes and your fault. You never have to repeat them. Defending and justifying mistakes is going to be a long, grueling path. It also advertises to the world you're going to do the same type of thing again very, very soon. Strap up and become better. To me, business and life plans are facts that illuminate the DNA of you and your business. If it's not written down, you'll never know what direction you and your business is going. You'll be flying by the seat of your pants like I did, waiting for a new customer just to pay off the materials from the past one. Or charging prices if your rent's $2,300 a month or $5,000 a month. All of a sudden, ironically, that's how much you're going to charge for the countertop, knowing you're going to lose money. Flying by the seat of your pants is thoughtless enthusiasm. All I'm trying to say is if you do not know where you are going, don't friggin' run faster, alright? If you don't know where you're going, don't run faster. Chillax a bit. Turn that business plan into your very own personalized GPS. If you are not following any type of business procedures and documenting the good, the bad, and the ugly of your business and your life, you may be skating on thin ice. I really also know, if you're like me, I don't know, but you may not want to look at the truth about you and your business in black and white because it's ugly. It hurts. I'm talking, it's a good punch in the gut. But I want to help you understand about not just basic business skills, but business for those of us who work with their hands, who grab toolboxes and put on our work boots for the industry. I love this industry so much. I love what I do so much. I just don't love the business side. Correction. I love the business side because if you get good at the business side, you could continue doing your craft. Do you get it? Do you get what I'm saying? If you're good at your craft, eventually you can't do your craft no more. So you just gotta do it. Friends in the industry, they suggested to me that I have a face for radio, so I should help others in the industry by talking to a microphone. Share my experiences, because they know I'm like an open book. I made mistakes, and I like to tell people I did. Not for a crutch, just to let you know, I made mistakes too, because I like being in the trenches. I like to work. I love turning things from a pile of scrap of materials into beautiful works of art people can have. I just love that feeling. And I'm sure you do too. I was so excited about that compliment that I have a face for radio. Oh, looking back, that ain't no compliment. Anyway, moving on. I'll call them back about that bullshit. And today, now I'm disturbed. I'm sidetracked. Anyway, today I'm going to help you as much as I can. I love doing what I love so much and taking on challenges that take my skill set to the limit. I now want to do my part educating the next generation because so many people helped me. I do this and I love what I do. Doing this makes me feel good. I just want to help and share because there might not be classes. If you want to kind of learn my craft, you could check out the Designicator's YouTube channel and see videos. I work with a bunch of different materials. You know how stockbrokers or wealthy people seem to diversify their portfolios? They have different... Well, I did that in my surface business. A lot of my friends just stick with hard surfaces, whether it's granite and quartz, and then my other friends work with like Corians, woods, and things like that. Well, I do them all, and I'm not best at them all. I just like to do enough so I could create with them. I love concrete, epoxy. And I've done woodworking for so long. I just love to diversify my materials because for me, as creative as I felt I was offering in my surface projects with inlays and putting seashells and lighted up glass and all the different things I did, if I would have stuck with one material, I don't think I would have made it. But I also realized by offering so many different materials, you're going to have to get a lot of knowledge. So while you're practicing, maybe you can download what I'm telling you now for if you decide to leave that job, or maybe stay with your job. You might have a family. Stay with your job because the family needs the benefits and all that stuff that you might not get should you start a business. Practice making like a concrete table on the weekend or something, and then while you're in that zone, that window I talked about, of should I start a business or shouldn't I? Should I quit my job? While you're in that zone, download this and listen to it on your MP3 player somehow, however you consume content. I don't know. I don't just listen. I usually am working and listening to other people's advice, and I'm just a different type of animal. I love this, but I also am willing to share my mistakes with you and how to be better. We could be better together. Look at me as like a friend you haven't met yet. I just want to see you do better. I want to see you do good at your crafts. I want you to practice. I want you to share with me and say, yo, Gene, check out what I did, man. My top's better than yours. And I'll be like, shucks, it is. And then I'll be asking you for advice. The thing is, you don't want to be the best at everything. I mean, it's lonely at the top. Hang out with all of us, man. This thing of ours is awesome. I have fabricator friends all over the world, not just the country. I got friends in London, and we just share advice. I mean, it's fun. And I hope whatever your craft is, you do that too. Try to meet people like you, not just in your neighborhood, but branch out. Technology has let us do things like this. So look at me as a friend you haven't met with. I'm not an expert at anything, and I can't be accused of teaching you bad info. No, I'm telling you my experience. I'm covered. And if you know someone who's better at things than me, just tell them I said they're right. That's how you get the last word with people that pound their chest and have an ego. Just tell them they're right, and they'll leave you alone. They'll stop talking. There's nothing else to talk about. I now want to do my part educating what I call you the next generation. I'm assuming you're a beginner. I don't think anyone that knows what I know is listening to this, but if you are, what's up? How you doing? But anyway, I kind of feel I basically have to do what they done for me. I simply want to keep the golden thread of this industry thriving. Back then, when I became an official business, quote, quote, and reality set in, meaning I actually started a business, I was no longer a decision. Reality I like to think reality is an acquired taste. I'm a creative. I have a different outlook on reality. I only realize reality is around when I'm half on fire, and then I start calling for help. That's me. I'm a creative. A lot of people have a skill. They learnt and they do. But us creatives and artist types, we get told to do something, and for some reason we just want to make it different. We just want to make it better. I have visions of things I want to do that are out of this world. It's been a long time coming. I worked for cabinet shops right after I graduated high school, which was Trade and Technical High School in Edison Tech, Elizabeth, New Jersey. 12th grade. The school actually let us leave in our last year after our grammar classes and math classes. They let us leave early and we go to a cabinet shop. I started working for a cabinet shop, sweeping the floors and laminating that thick Formica around mica doors, and then Wilson Art came in. I started learning all about mica. I like to file. Yeah, I would just do pinwheeling doors every day. Glue, stick, router, file, like thousands of doors. But I was getting familiar with the work industry. Then when I graduated, I had a job to go to. The few shops in my life I was an employee of, I always remember the feeling of wanting to express my craft. I've been wanting to express myself through my craft like an artist wants to knead and paint. You might not know this, but if you're an artist, you need to create. You need to paint. You don't want to, you just need to. That's what just gets you up in the morning. I did great at all the places I worked at because my skills were good. I really learned, I practiced, I took my time. I always knew speed came later. There was no desire to, build a countertop in an hour or build a cabinet in an hour. I took my time with the hardware so I didn't have to fix it once it was installed. I took my time. But I couldn't express myself because my creations were never on the work orders. I didn't have creative control of the business. I knew one day I would start a business, and then when I was officially in business, I got the cart before the horse. I just treated my business model like a buffet. I chose to throw on my plate what I like, what I want to eat. I'm not eating them damn lima beans of business. But I now know, looking back and know, I should have ate those damn lima beans. The whirlwind of work that was coming my way once I exposed my craft to the world came at me fast. I thought saying yes to every request was what you're supposed to do. Running a business was way more than just being good at the craft. Thoughtless enthusiasm made my workloads overwhelming. My arrogance and ability to endure physical and mental pain was unnecessarily tested. My experience with being able to take hits was helping, but also hurting me at the same time. I always think if I could have been better at business, my endurance could have been better used creating more innovative designs. If I was only able to understand my cost analysis sheets better. I'm sure checking those sheets I got now would have produced healthier financial gains. I'm not a fireman. I make cabinets and countertops. Putting out fires that I started is nothing to be praised about. I'm so glad my craft was intact, but it also was able to mask my business weakness, or my lack of lima bean consumption, referring to that buffet metaphor I was talking about. I'm so proud to say today I know what's up. Lima beans sauteed in butter? I even gobble up Brussels sprouts these days. I made mistakes and got calm and simply uncovered, discovered, and discarded those mistakes into my 24-karat golden tools of awareness. My surface designs can be seen all over the world in pockets of multiple lifestyles and genres. I've been featured in many magazines of the industry and had the privilege to write monthly articles about my projects in a magazine. It was a fashion magazine, Panache Fashion Magazine, for 2 years, every month. My markets were all over the place. Friends of mine would set up at home shows with everyone else who did the same thing. That wasn't for me. I don't want to be around all these tire kickers. How much a square foot? Blah, blah, blah. I'd set up tables at healthcare shows where people least expect a countertop sample table display would be. I set up at fashion shows, music venues. Those are people who have kitchens as well. Those are people who have baths. Those are people who have outdoor kitchens. Nurses would be seeing all the tools doctors buy and use, and then all of a sudden they hit my table and I show them my seamless props of what it's like to have Avenite in your house and have all the literature that the manufacturers provide about the health benefits and how it's made, and then share it with them. And I show that I can also inlay items and literally theme the countertops. So I'll tell you, the way I did my marketing, the flow of work that came my way was like unbelievable. The abundance of attention I got once I started sharing my craft, it was just like shooting fish in a barrel. I don't like that saying, but that's the only word I could think of to describe how easy it was to sell my work. Make money on my work? That's why I needed a business plan, and that's why you need one. I was showing my work online, and I got noticed from friends in the industry in a good way, as they're helping me. They were cheering me on because they knew I just jumped into this business. I bought magazine subscriptions from my industry and seen design contests coming. I said to myself, I should have said to myself, I'm not that good. Look at all the people entering the contest. They're from Germany. They're all the heavy hitters. They got billion-dollar shops or revenues for their shops. Nah, I'm going to enter. I was able to win 7 awards at the International Surface Design Association convention held annually in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I think one year they had it in Orlando. But I won 7 times. I won these awards. I was competing against fabricators all over the world. I do think I won some of those awards, though, because these titans of the industry, they were too busy and couldn't get registered and enrolled in the competition in time. I don't care. I still won. I know they might have been better, but they didn't write it down and get it registered in time. I did. So I won. But I then went on to hold countless seminars on setting up shop, introducing the green industry to surface fabricators, fabrication. I did some installation ideas at these same type of events that I once sat up front, soaking up all the experience and knowledge from the teachers at that time. They weren't really teachers, they were just sharing because someone helped them. And that's what I started doing. That's what I'm even doing now. Of course, no one really probably wants to go, let's go hear this guy who ran a business and made mistakes. They all want to hear the ones that are successful. I get it, but I'm just going to try to be different. Shops that want to introduce a new material, though, they need to know what tools to buy, you know, the pros and cons. So I started having contractors and other shops call me like, hey, Gene, I don't want to learn everything you know. I just don't know. I want to introduce concrete so I could start offering to my customers. Because we both know if you're in a surface industry right now, I'm sure you're probably getting calls like, do you do concrete countertops? You're probably getting 3 calls a month that you have to deny, especially to your customers or clients you had for a while. So people are asking me, and I tell them, you know, you can get by with this workbench, just make sure it's level, things like that. I do lunch and learns for designers and tell them about actually the complaints of my industry. Certain things, architects, what can be done, what shouldn't be done. Don't design it and then get mad at us if we can't perform that. It's not our fault. And just I'm trying to help everybody get along, because we need everybody. We need architects, designers, we need buyers, we need everybody. So I'm trying to like get us all connected in a nice way in my world, not yours. You probably got everything going good. I'm just here in Tampa Bay trying to, do a little thing with my knowledge to slow down the already sometimes stressful workloads we put on our plates to keep moving. I did one seminar through Zoom back in the day that really inspired me at the New York University. It was so cool to entertain the questions from these college business enthusiasts. I probably should have asked them questions about business though, huh? But they were so interested in how I was turning my raw materials into finished products and actually making money. It's just one of these seminars I truly remember and got a sparkle in my eye. Knowing our industry may be in good hands, I kind of liked it. I kind of liked that they were interested in this and they were thinking how to start a business. I also held workshops at that same International Surface Fabricators Association. At the time it was International Solid Surface, and got broken down to allow more surfaces into the industry like quartz and granite and everything else. I had the privilege to also speak at the National Association of Home Builders, the NAHB. I spoke at the Florida Green Building Coalition and did local seminars for the U.S. Green Building Council. But the local chapters, for my green industry friends, I actually had the privilege to meet Rick Fedrizzi. He's the founding chair of the United States Green Building Council. When I met him, I'm sure I was acting like a crazed fan, jumping on stage at a Metallica concert. I was whipping out samples of Atrazo, Paperstone, my recycled content. Look, it's Avonite. Yes, it's post-industrial, but check it out. Look what I could do with it. I carried my samples around in my pockets. I guess I learned that from Jersey, where you park at a red light, someone comes up to you, they open up their trench coat, and there's all gold chains and things hanging. Yeah, I was like that with my samples. Everywhere I went, I was promoting products to give me and my fellow fabricators and manufacturers a better shot at the green industry, because I was kind of getting pissed off. It felt like, yo, man, what do you mean our materials ain't good to get into a lead rating system product? I want to bring attention to these products to get into the lead rating systems, which is put out by the U.S. Green Building Council. However, I wasn't there when they were making the policy, because I would have made some changes quick to them. Many builders were at these events. Looking back, many of these builders just took my business card so I would shut up. Kind of like, what they did to me when I was singing Christmas carols as a kid. Here, get away from me, I'll take your card. But I did land a minimum of 3 jobs out of 100 cards, because at this point I started checking everything. I'm checking my marketing. Is it worth it? But 3 jobs out of 100, it's a numbers game. Like guys did back in the day at their high school dance. Keep asking girls till one says yes. You just keep asking, but count them. And then if, I guess, the 9th girl says yes, look at it as a focus group. Telling you about, it's a focus group. They're telling you about your game. Either you're good or you're bad, or I don't know. But my plan was to ask 100. And if all 100 said no, then I look at them, because I only brought 100 cards. I would actually count them. And if all 100 said no, not interested, I would also look at them like a focus group and get rid of that sample. Get rid of that procedure. Get rid of that workshop. Get rid of that market. Or ask somebody else, am I going about it wrong? Maybe because I look like a freak in a trench coat with samples taped to the inside of my jacket. Maybe that could be it. But I never thought to ask that. But the 3 jobs were locks. To me, that was good. My overhead was low at the time. That's all I could handle anyway. I'm glad all 100 builders didn't call me. You know why? I probably would have said yes like a dumbass. Yeah, I could do it. I got it. I read somewhere, not sure, but I think Rick now runs like the International Well Building Institute in New York City. That dude is on the roll for the green building industry. But if you ever see him, tell him, yeah, I'm that guy with samples, and I'm hanging in there. I still believe in the green industry. I'm certified in many brands of surface materials, as I also got heavily involved in the green industry. But I really wanted to know how to better apply their procedures to the surface industry. Really, it wasn't my business. I should have been like, you want a countertop or not? If not, leave me alone. But no, I was, for some reason, always trying to get in, not minding my own business. I was trying to get involved. What is a lead AP anyway? I was trying to get into all that. And I got involved with my local chapters, and I would just listen to everybody. I would listen to gentleman Josh at Creative Contractors, and the way he talked, it wasn't just some government procedural lima bean homework type thing. It started making sense to me. It was just common sense blown up big. By the way, you green building developers, yeah, I'm that guy that showed up at all the grand open ribbon cutting events of your lead buildings. And when I see you, the developer who obviously wasn't prepared from your PR staff, and you didn't take time to talk to your lead AP to answer questions that might get asked, you were just really worried about the plaque and the marketing aspect to say, look, I did a green building, now everyone leave me alone. I got you. Once I seen Mr. or Mrs. Peacock step up to the lectern, I had to. I just had to. I put my hand on my face and said, oh, they shouldn't have put him up there. They should have put the lead AP up there. So I said, let me take a shot. Let me rock the boat a little bit. I just had to. I moved in with the quickness. Mr. Peacock opened up the floodgates for questions, while a guy like me is in the audience. Crazy that he didn't get better informed from his lead AP, other than the green marketing bandwagon. Notice, fabricators, these developers and green builders can achieve basic LEED certification through the LEED rating system and hang the plaque once the envelope of their building is done and sealed. They don't even have to furnish it yet. They can kind of get it done. But then they get a continuing audit later on, and then maybe things might get changed. But this is our time. Once we find out that someone's building a LEED building in your community, in your country, if they are, or something similar, that's the time to have all your samples ready. But don't just say, ain't this pretty? They really might agree with you. Yeah, that's nice, but what's it made out of? Where's it come from? So you have to have that documented, kind of like a business plan for your sample, like a little GPS. You want to know what's the content. Is it post-consumer glass? Is it post-industrial? Is it this? What about the indoor air quality? Even though it's beautiful and 100% recycled, what's the IAQ rating? Otherwise known as indoor air quality. You want to know all this, okay? So keep that in mind when you're making your samples. Keep track, write that down. Should green enthusiasts come to your community so you can market to them and have everything ready, all right? It won't hurt you, because even if they don't, like U.S. Green Building Council or a green organization there are people who buy homes who really like the idea of common sense blown up real big. And then you might be able to sell them a job, but they still, too, might not give two hoots that it's recycled. They want to know about the indoor air quality. Get to know about the material, okay? I know you know how to make it pretty, but you got to start learning about what actually is and how it could benefit them or hurt them. And if it hurts them, don't sell it to them. After it's sealed, they can get this plaque, and then they could fill the interiors with basically any furniture they find. There's no green police, and there shouldn't be. Even though I sound like I was acting like one, but it's more like the right thing to do. If you're going to be green bragging and peacocking about how green you are, we, the industry, have to push them sometimes to hire us more. Us surface fabricators need to just poke the bear a little bit, and I had to. So I asked Mr. Peacock, Mr. Peacock, I love everything about the building, But I just want to understand about the interior finishes. I'm not a heckler. I might sound like one. But don't you think all those interior materials that look to me like they were shipped from 3 to 4 continents away? What are those surfaces made out of? What is that contact paper glued to particle board? It's not even mica laminate? I'm not complaining. But don't you think the formaldehyde off-gassing will be fighting with the indoor air quality in your sealed-up building? I toned it down a bit and said, I get it. Budgets didn't allow you to purchase materials within 500-mile radius for us here in Florida. And this is where I was with Rick Frigisi when they were planning this policy, because they obviously didn't think about Florida. The rule is, if you're going to use a material, it must be within 500-mile radius, manufactured, things like that, of the project. What if you're doing a project in Florida? Have you guys seen the state of Florida? What were they in the center of the country when some dingbat came up with this idea? What are we in Florida supposed to do? 3/4 of that radius is in either the Gulf of Mexico or the Atlantic Ocean. 3/4 of it. Want to do a condo on the beach and make it a lead project? You got a small portion to work with, because we're a long state. Yeah, they weren't thinking about Florida, but we still keep grinding and working it out. It's all about getting better, because they too have to be better, but we have to tell them. We don't have to piss and moan about it. We just got to let them know. It's so obvious when USGP was setting up policy procedures for lead ratings, they didn't think of the shape and the location of Florida. But I get it. But let's just try to be better. Next time, Mr. Peacock, here's my card. And on your next building, let's just be better. And I shook his hand. And of course, I helped him on his next building be better. It's that simple. Work is everywhere. Let yourself be known. Express yourself. I'm sure you are now starting to see green buildings considering our surface industry materials even more. Not because of me, just because we are getting better at it. Manufacturers are now invested in certification labels, so us, the fabricators, don't, when someone asks us that question, what's in it? I don't know. So we don't have to take the liability that if it's not in there, well, this manufacturer said it. They kind of sponsored that. It's like a golden contract, whether it's approved or not. I love it. I love it that they're doing it. You know, everyone liked the idea of the recycled glass, and I really personally don't think it was because it was recycled. It was because it looked good. There were people I know that hate the idea of, like, when you mention global warming or glass or environment or recycled, that they actually think it's garbage. Well, when I had the sample made and said, well, this is recycled glass, I want that in my house. But you might have to push some people in your own community, states, and countries and show this. That's why I always say practice first, making samples, keep them in your truck, your vehicle, have a little different colors so you can show them. Because this is something that we do, us as artists and craftsmen and craftswomen and fabricators. They really don't get what we do. If we just say we do countertops, what do you think's popping in their head? Is it what you do that's popping in their head? I doubt it. I bet you they're picturing like some old avocado green from like a countertop. Or maybe a simple popular top in the big box stores now. If that's not what you do, we got to change their brains. Okay? Everyone can live a greener lifestyle if they want to as well. I think it's better to initiate sales that way, better than spending cash on cheesy magazine ads. So if the developer is listening, talk more with your lead AP, will you? After all, you hired them for your firm. Get the best out of them. Developers, listen to your lead AP. You hired them for a reason. Okay? I'd rather talk to them and ask them questions. They are not lima beans either. They will be able to explain to you the proper full understanding of why you really wanted to build a green building in our community in the first place, regardless of certification plaque. I know many developers and contractor firms won't absorb the best out of the lead APs because they too got this. Now back to you. Keep in mind, fabricator, artist, whatever, just because something is recycled, it doesn't mean you won't annoy indoor air quality ratings as well. Green is just common sense blown up big to me. It's a great thing, but fabricators and builders, please understand this should you even get approached by someone wanting to do a lead project. Just because something is recycled doesn't mean it will automatically qualify. Focus on the indoor air quality properties of the material first. You are choosing to add these to your company, so get to know these. If you're going to sell the samples, don't get egg on your face like that developer did from me. Get to know. Don't just hand people samples and when they say, what is it? Don't say, I don't know. Maybe your first day, but you should never have to say that a second time. Do your homework. Many green designers and architects will already have the material specified in the blueprints. And then if they're green certified labels from the manufacturers requesting, I need IAQ, which is indoor air quality label. If you check your manufacturer, they might have that label. All done. Print out the readout, what the properties are made of, send the spec sheets to the architect, you're covered. Away you go. You may decide to offer green products or these, whatever you decide to make, where you make countertops or tabletops, I don't know, whatever your market you're looking to tap into. This is just something it should crop up. You might want to do it. It might be a multi-dwelling unit for lead. You don't want to miss out on that job, right? So this might be a little bit, give you a little understanding, but do further research. If you do decide to offer green products to the residential people in your community who some desire healthy indoor air quality in their homes, indoor air quality should come first. Then you can offer post-consumer or post-industrial glass, various other recycles. I've seen metal shavings, things like that. But don't get hung up on the buzzwords that these advertising firms are now using, like natural and recycled. People think because they got something natural or recycled, they're good. No! Recycled formaldehyde is still formaldehyde. Don't get hung up on that word recycled. Just because it's recycled, it still can harm your clients or your customers. Natural mercury, you ever see natural advertised all over the place? Great. But do you know natural mercury will put you on your ass if you drink it? Be careful of these buzzwords, my friend. We are fabricators. We also have to protect ourselves because we're the one that meet the customers. The manufacturers usually don't. We do. We're that bridge in the gap. They make a sheet or a slab or a panel. We fabricate it, and then the customer's not calling them, they're calling us. So get to know these things, all right? Be careful of these buzzwords. Research and learn. Plus, I'm looking out for my fellow fabricators around the world so they too can get a piece of the pie in this exciting green building industry. It's fun and exciting. Doing these seminar workshops for the construction industry, cabinet shops, countertop shops, I just love it. I want to put horsepower in their skill set. If they want it. They probably already got it, so they don't need me. But if you don't, you need me. I need you. Hey, we're friends in the industry. I'm just a friend you haven't met yet. I'm able to see talented, skilled people's eyes light up when they fully understand something different and that they too can now create more cool, exciting ideas, items, top surfaces, creations for their customers in their towns or states. I remember, because that's how I was when I attended surface training courses in the industry. So when I train people, I am just overly excited. I'm starting to get excited now, obviously, because you're still listening and maybe you want to too be better. Tom Pinsky, Brent Hubbard from Aristex Acrylics. Tom Pinsky does his own thing, the Pinsky Edge. Don't look at his catalog. I know he'll hate me for saying that, but he's got some of the greatest tools. I actually like buying tools I don't even need. It's just very fascinating. Brent, he worked for Aristech, and he used to do all the training seminars, and I just fell in love with Avanite because of him. I just loved it because it was different. It wasn't too popular at the time. But I felt they were the missing puzzle piece in my life I was looking for. I mean, my business was just, I just needed to do something, and I needed something to play with. And just these two guys stand out, not to mention other things. But watching these titans show me how to seam up a surface after, I felt I was good at laminate and formica and cabinets and veneers and kind of that world. But watching them sand up and then high buff Avanite Studio, whoo! I knew I could sell that. Tom Penske with all his little gadgets to repair solid surface in case a plumber, needs the hole moved over. Oh my God, I was just like a kid in a candy store. I know the word to use when you're doing a seam and you can't see it. You're supposed to tell everyone it's inconspicuous. I don't give a shit about that. At the time, I couldn't find the plug or hole seam, so to me, it disappeared. And I stuck with that. But now, if you ask me about my seam, I'll say, yes, I can make you a seam, but it's inconspicuous. But to me, the hole disappeared that day. That's my story. I witnessed it. I seen it. The gears in my brain from attending seminars were finally moving again. I got so excited about the surface industry. Everyone I met, I would whip out a sample of my latest creation. Not a picture, the actual sample. I then found the Fabricator network put out by Andy Graves from Olive Mill Countertops in Anaheim, California. Andy and his wife Val, she turned me on to sushi. To me, that was like lima beans. I'm like, sushi? I said, no, I remember last time what happened when I didn't try lima beans, so I'm going to eat this crap too. And then I ate it. I fell in love. I mean, sushi is the bomb. I like sushi now. I eat everything. I'm just so afraid to not try things anymore or get advice from others for help in my business or my life that okay, I'll listen. I did not try those lima beans and look what happened, right? I didn't try them. Remember when I told you? I didn't try them. So I'm going to blame everything on lima beans for now and move on. But Fabricator network. But I was on it when I'm, getting a little familiar with computer. But it was so awesome for a guy like me. I don't know if anyone else had the experience I did. But I met so many friends in the industry. And they were willing to help me be better. They were telling me, if your router's making a loud noise when you're doing a seam, you probably bits are dull. I don't know. I didn't remember seeing that on a router bit label package, but I learned little things like that. They were just willing to help me be better. And they didn't want anything in return, but just for me to be better.
We charge for a 45-degree angle board. We charge for upgraded edge. We have our standard edge, each edge, round over, something like that. That's standard. That comes with it. But then we have a long list of nice edges, and they cost money. And we do a lot of nice edges. So, let them make the decision. Give them the option. Don't confuse them with all these prices. But don't be afraid to charge and charge for those extras, because that's where we make our money.
We charge for the extras, but we include it into the price for the customer. See, we don't itemize every single little thing because they're just going to get confused. What's an outside 3-inch radius? What does that mean? So,
that's an important point. By this point in time, where we're talking about now, almost every shop can start out the same. Shortly after you get past that point, where what we're talking about right now, you've already made important decisions that start setting the direction for you. All you have to do is listen to the logic of the decision. If you're going to be wholesale only, then it certainly costs you next to nothing to do exactly what Maury's doing. However, you're nuts if you don't charge accordingly. But the best feeling about it is that your customer is getting the absolute cleanest information possible about this material, because half of the warranty issues are going to come from somebody expecting that this product can do something that it really can't, and they should never have been told it could. You have control over that when you are selling at retail.
You see what I'm saying? I'm really happy, and I was starting my business at that very time in my life because I was being activated with all these people from all over the world giving me tips, cheering me on, saying, yeah, that's cool, yeah. We were just like asking, and we were even arguing on certain things. We even had issues with our material's better than your material. It doesn't matter. We're all friends now. This thing of ours is great. I felt like Self-Titled felt about being around in the 90s. Looking back, I too also feel like in that time when I knew everybody around that generation, I felt like a kid that grew up in the great jazz era, like Self-Titled once said about the 90s. I just felt like I was like walking down in New Orleans in the jazz era, surrounded by all kinds of musicians just ready to pop off. Everybody helping everybody improve on their craft. Helping other people load their instruments, even though they weren't going on it. There was just so many things. I'm glad I grew up in that time when I was going to conferences and just couldn't wait to see people I only see once a year. I now want to focus on the opportunity with this type of technology of today to seize your moment in time like that. So you too can bring out the best of you and to just outright become better. I'm so excited to see what you can create. I can't wait. I'm certified in these many brands of surface materials, but also felt the material that I can make in smaller materials. I don't know if they're still doing it, but manufacturers and slab distributors that I was just connected to kind of squawked at cutting up the slabs or panels, because I got a lot of customers that have one-door homes, and you know the difference. Two-door homes kind of usually want bigger things. But I get it. They don't want to cut it. Somebody wants a 30-inch vanity. Ebonite, they'll cut it sometimes, but it was difficult, and I get it. Like a Vertrazzo slab, no one wants to cut a slab of Millefiori or Al House Amber or Floating Blue for a 30-inch top. And then even if they do, you gotta jack up your price, and even if the customer can afford it, they just can't justify it. But they didn't want to cut up a vanity top 4 to 6 feet out of their slab, because then they probably could have sold the whole slab, had that little portion for me taken out. So I get it. They have to raise the price for cutting it, and they should. They better. Even if they decide to cut it, solid surface manufacturers have the same challenges, but not as bad, not as hard to cut. Some manufacturers can actually sell you half sheets. You can check remnant sites. But it becomes challenging and costly for me with the pallet, shipping costed, add that to my profit margin, because don't forget, I know about a business plan now. I mean, might as well, if you don't have a business plan, don't know how much money you're making, just give the person $100 and tell them, look, I'm probably going to get off cheaper if I just give you $100 and I don't have to order anything. You gotta have a business plan. I felt at the time surface manufacturers' business models was more focused on kitchens and obviously big-ass bathroom vanities. I was getting too many calls for small vanities. And I'm one of them people that wanted to take care of a bunch of little small jobs. Personally, for my business, they were easier to manage, and there was a lot of them, and there was a quick turnover. All my customers know the cost involved once I talked to them and laid out the cost for a 30-inch vanity top. And it was eye-popping. Some bit though, but some just couldn't justify these costs. I loved the small jobs. Took as many as I could. The 1-month jobs were getting a little too long. Let's just say for now, I still hear from my business friends that messed up as well. It's always the big jobs that bite their ass, not the small ones. I realized a little bit and a little bit adds up to a lot of bit. Lots of little jobs add up to good margins. At this point, I was taking these manufacturer branded materials and morphing them with other materials and doing tons of themed inlays. I'd done an Avonite Studio sky glass with seashell inlays and was doing so many jobs like that. I was inlaying everything from glow-in-the-dark particles, left over from Lumistone. I don't know if you heard of that solid surface and material that glows in the dark, attracted by some natural daylight. I really loved it, had a lot of fun with that. Shredded money to jewelry in these materials. It was fun. So I got familiar with resins at the time, or what works and what don't work. I was like experimenting with epoxy and Crete and liking the idea that if my customer now needs a 4 square foot vanity or even a 35 square foot kitchen, I wouldn't need to buy another sheet or slab that inflates the quote. I then decided to add epoxy and resins and concrete to my portfolio. Just like the wealthy people do. They all have a stock portfolio and they all have multiple streams of income. I looked at that with materials of the surface industry. Now, if you want to be connected to one brand, one type of material, good for you. How many customers just want that material? You'll need to find this in your business plan. I just wanted to be a little bit good at each material. I had houses that wanted to buy each type of material I work with. I did a job in the Bahamas. They wanted agate, precious stones. They wanted vitrazo. They wanted avonite. They wanted a backlighted avonite. They wanted teak wood. They wanted quartz. They even wanted corian. They even wanted ice stone. I said yes and did all them materials. The customer liked me that I was like a one-stop shop for that. Some might say, too many things, you can't be the master of one thing. It's still all surfacing. It's like having a clothing store. You might just not want to sell blue jeans. You might want to have different colors. That's all it was. Different materials. You might want whatever it is you want. That's what I chose to do. I can't depend on one material. They all can't pull in 100% of profit margins. Just keep that in mind. But if someone wanted paper stone and you don't offer that and no one's buying what you really set your mind on in your market strategy, or you base customer inquisition on what type of material you're going to stick with, you might get hung up, or you might be trying to now oversell the job and then you look desperate to your customer. You see what I'm saying? Lay it out. This is what I got. When a customer walks into your shop or your website or they meet you, how can I be of service to you? Well, what is this? And if you just said, I just sell concrete. I was looking for something a little, when I put my wine at night, it doesn't make that loud clinking noise. It's just a great idea for you to say, oh, well, maybe you might want avonite or paper stone. Yeah, but I wish it would match the tile. Hey, I could match the tile and do an inlay. These are all things you can offer to your clients. GFRC though, not that $3 a bag stuff of concrete. Don't try that. Try to get with a reputable brand that has, I like GFRC. I buy the precast kit from Shorecrete. I like it's all mixed in there, the fibers, and I learned a lot of that. But if you actually want to see things and you're getting tired of hearing my voice in your headphones, just go on to YouTube. Watch the videos on concrete. You'll see all little ideas and create your own. Don't try to do what I did. Learn from me. Learn from our videos of what we're showing you and then express yourself. Be a better you. We got enough duplicates in the world. Be better than me. Okay? And then I'm going to try to be better than you. But we're going to be friendly doing this. Let's help each other. Like, hey, Gene, I found out a better way to stick the glass. Hey, I found a better mold release. Let's be friends. We'll chat in the comments. We're just this thing of ours. Come in. Come on in. Join us, man. But I was confident with my practicing, and I added to my material portfolio, and then I really drew even more attention. Oh my God, the requests were nuts. After about 50 vanity tops, I started thinking bar tops. Of course, there I go again. There's a saying in the industry, and I have to say is true for me. You butcher your first countertop creation, and then you learn. You learn the right way. My first concrete and epoxy tops, looking back, I think they sucked. But I learned. Even though the customer was happy for them, right now I'd be like, I could have got that bubble out with the torch or something. I just have that. I'm probably my own worst critic. If you're an artist or a creative like me, you're probably going to say that too. You're your own worst critic. Everyone loves your work and you're not even done yet. I get it. I've been there. I should have just gave the customers of them jobs $3,000 to go somewhere else, and I would have still been financially better. But, you know, I practiced. I kept practicing on my dime more and got better. I made better tops and corrected them. Even though they were okay, you got to understand, these tops were going into marketable locations because you know why? I want to be better. Once you do a wild top, think about where it's going. You know, do the people like to entertain? Kitchens are the command center of anyone's home nowadays. Major decisions are made there. The kids do their homework and eat there. A lot of things are done. Coffee in the morning. The kitchens are the command center. Now, with concrete, I found another market. Sometimes people don't want all their friends in their house anymore. They throw them outside in the backyard around the outdoor kitchen. And what material's great for outside? Concrete. See where I'm going with this? Once you start practicing, you could transform your craft and tend to tap into all kinds of markets. But you gotta talk to the people. Don't butt rent a cheesy ad in a magazine saying I do concrete. You gotta tap into, help them understand what it is you do, and they'll appreciate the value of your craft. Got it? Once I combined my training and designs into my craft and felt confident about the quality, procedures, and profit margins, I was locked and loaded. I got an abundance of attention, though, that excited me like this kid in a candy store. But if you eat all the friggin' candy, you're gonna be sick. That's what I did. But I was just like, yeah, I love it in this candy store because the abundance of attention, everyone was calling me, whoa, I love that, blah, blah, blah. You know, I end up going on HGTV, container homes. In other episodes in this business boot camp, Mr. Gene Shop Talk thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be producing a lot of content. And I'm going to talk to you because once you start doing good projects, I guarantee you're going to get an abundance of attention. And I want to give you a little experience about should you get offered to do a TV show. I know it sounds exciting, but I just want to explain to you what to watch out for. And there is going to be a golden contract involved. Even if you're deciding to contribute your labor, even if you're deciding to give away your material for free, there's still contractual procedures. There's deadlines, there's times, there's changes they get to make, but you can't. I just want to teach you these things.
Hi, I'm Dr. Anna Marie. We're here at the Orlando Home Show, of course, in Central Florida. And guess what I found? Our kitchen guru, Rick Cacovello from Central Kitchen and Bath. Rick, I'm loving this countertop.
Isn't this cool?
Is this from Gene McDonald or?
This is from Gene.
Right. Awesome.
And he did, we challenged him. My designers challenged him with this top, and he said thanks for the challenge because he had fun doing it.
Well, everybody's coming up here going, it's stone. But it is.
No, it's not. It's as hard as stone. You can hit this with a hammer and it won't break. But this is 100% recycled paper.
I love it.
Okay?
I love it.
Post-consumer paper, which means
this
that
nice cutaway right here. See this camera guy? awesome.
It is.
Post-consumer.
Post-consumer, and which means that it's not post-industrial waste. It is consumer waste, recycled paper.
How durable is it?
You can hit this with a hammer and it's not going to break, which just floors me. You hit granite with a hammer, it's cracking, it's breaking, anything like that. This thing here, Gene showed me. He took a hammer and he whacked it. I didn't believe him, and sure enough,
this might have
there
to
was
kind
no
of go
mark.
into the tack room, or can't we find something for this at Terraford? But I love this
We can take this and put it on the wall because it's truly a piece of art.
It's a piece of art. Now we're not doing. I'm sorry.
The inside of this is curia wood, which is a beautiful product. And if you noticed, it's
I thought it was bamboo.
It's
like
mostly
straw.
stalks.
Yeah.
It's stalks, and this is also a very green product. It's they do something to, and of course Gene could talk to you about this better, but people with allergies and whatnot use this product, and then after it's used, then it is recycled to put into these countertops. It's great stuff.
Any, in a sense of formaldehyde, everything is basically 100%. I think
there
zero.
are no added volatile compounds at all, and the dye that they use for this is 100% organic.
All right, this might have to disappear
So you can
after
eat
the show. This might disappear after the show.
Yeah.
But I have it hours behind the desk, with drawings, meetings, construction, dusts, going back and forth with ideas, and
the whole build-up part it was hard to envision what we were going to look like when we were done, but boy, this is just way beyond expectations.
And you know what? I believe you actually reached all my goals too. I wanted a healthy kitchen, I wanted a green kitchen, and I think you did a pretty good job.
The coconut palm is just one of my favorite stories because these are coconut-bearing trees from the farms that used to be burned or put in a landfill, and that was the end of what they did. Now they're taking those trees and turning them into these beautiful products. It can be furniture, cabinetry. There's a whole wide range of product that comes from these trees that used to be destroyed. And that is recycling.
1,800 ale bottles and medicine bottles and apple juice bottles are on this are in this countertop in the center island. And the nice thing about the Vitrazo is you can walk through. It's a great conversational piece. There are several companies out there that do recycled glass, but I like the big chunks of glass.
And every finish or color of Vitrazo has a story to it, which is such a neat thing.
Hey, Gene, I found this piece of paper. It looks like the back of a beer bottle. Is that a Corona label?
Yes, not that I'm the expert on beer bottle labels, but yes, that is Corona. That's the O, the Old English type letters they use. And it's not that Vitrazo doesn't sanitize and scrape off the labels of beer bottles. It's just that some bottles are silkscreen.
Green interior artist Gene McDonald worked closely with Rick when it came to fabricating our countertops.
I happen to be a master fabricator of Vitrazo because I love it. Not that I just sold so many slabs, just that I love working with it. But then when I found out the countertop's properties, I really wanted a part of this material. It's concrete-based, petroleum-free, doesn't off-gas, recycled glass, but recycled glass from actually connected to curbside recycling. Now, a social aspect of eco-friendly happens too. It's providing jobs. People have to pick up this glass from people's houses. People have to clean it, sanitize it. So it's providing jobs, American-based glass that's actually used. Because a lot of people say, oh, I just throw my glass away. Let me tell you something. There is no away. It needs to go somewhere eventually. So to turn what you might call garbage into beautiful works of art and provide jobs, it's a double winner. Not only does it look good, think how many families were able to have dinner because we purchased Vitrazo. Just think of that. That's one aspect of it. Now you're in your house, sealed, proper house. You don't want no off-gassing, formaldehyde, various other chemicals that I can't even pronounce.
And even the eco glass, the recycled glass tiles on our backsplash wall and center islands are not emitting VOCs into our home's indoor air. To bring this recycled glass to light, we incorporated the latest LED accent lights.
I did a couple other TV shows, some got canceled. I also have experience with doing pilots for these 2 separate TV shows. 2. Yeah, I did a whole 2 pilots, not 1, 2, only to find out after the work from the production crew who worked their asses off completing the series, the network canceled us. I felt like the kid that doesn't get picked on America's Got Talent or something. picked my butt up and walked off. But yes, I know, I should have learned the first time. Guess what? I said yes again. All right, I'll do it again. But that's some experience you may want to know about should you get the opportunity.
That kitchen really gives people an inspiration. In fact, it is important to recycle. It's a good thing.
That's what I liked, and we helped what you did. We helped the designers, all the designers, builders, and everyone that's here getting the CEU credits. They now know what to say. The demolition glass, a story in every surface. I was listening to them, how they're going to, because they all got clients.
Yeah.
And the problem is most people go, oh, it's recycled. Why does it cost so much? Think of this. We're providing jobs. The curbside recycling, the grinding of the glass, the sanitizing, the preparation. And then really I always tell people cheap is really expensive in the long run. Because even if you put today's top popular material and you could wear a gas mask around it, you'll bite the bullet. Just think about the long term, 5 years from now. Will it be in style or are you going to have to change it out again? If you're going to remodel your house, let's think like that. And have a house that's beautiful, not just today, but 5 years from now. Will it still be in style as well as healthy? Let's think about healthy.
And we did coconut palm, we did bamboo, we did the vitrazzo. But if you want to learn more of the awesome products, materials that Green Artist Gene is working with,
this is just like my first episode. I'm trying out, getting familiar. I might not pronounce words properly. If that really offends you, how about this? Just go listen to somebody else, dude. I'm just trying to get content out, and I hope you can decipher what it is I'm trying to say to help you, okay? I'm going to do everything I can to help you. Just watch out for thoughtless enthusiasm. Wow, I'm really impressed. Dang, you watched that whole video? Thank you. I too learned a lot more of people and things that I consider bad examples than I did off the good examples. So I think why you probably could identify to me in my video was so you don't make the dumbass mistakes I made in business in my life. Now in this question answer type thing, I know I brought up treasure mapping, and I really respect that, and I might not answer too much on that because I don't know what Billy Bob is scheduling it for. I think it's the 5th video. I got you, Mr. James. Make a video business plan, GPS, and treasure mapping thing, and then we woosah it all up. Because I'm not saying it's better than everybody else, but it worked for me. I'm in the creative trade industry, so it really, really helped me. Creatives and artists and skilled craftsmen, we kind of think different than the average person. So maybe this might help you. Who knows? I am going to limit my answers. I'm going to limit my answers though on that. And I also am not embarrassed to tell you I don't know the answer. A time in my life I'd be like, oh, I'd probably bullshit you to say the answer, but that's not me. That's not me anymore. And while you're in this zone too about thinking starting a business, I touch on it in another video. Maybe consult with an attorney if you're having trouble making good quoting forms, contractual forms. For people like us in the trade industry, it might be different than like a baker's contract. You know, get the wording right, because should something go wrong in your business and you have to meet the legal community, let's just say they only pay attention to the black part of the contract, not the white part. Doesn't mean what you meant. It doesn't matter what you said. It's what's in the black part of a contract, the writing. That's what matters. So get somebody to help you, consult with them. You know, you can even do it sometimes a la carte. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Lawyer, can you just write me a good contract form to protect myself, please? And it's very worth it, okay? Also, you see, I do a lot of wild type projects. Today, I want to stay drama free because I operate
on a proper business plan that's up to date. A business plan is not a loan application so you can get money. There I go. I'm wrong. Yes, it is for some, but not for people like me, and I don't know if it's for people like you. Follow that thing, okay? The reason I really don't want to talk too much about treasure mapping, because my treasure map is a little animated and I want to go over with you. It really is similar to Indiana Jones type sceneries and things like that. I actually do have alligator pits I get caught in. I have a bunch of burnt bridges I can't cross over, so I got to figure out another way. I actually have to run through jungles and dodge things, and then I see a cliff, I have to jump off the cliff. And if you're like me, we probably jump off a cliff a lot of times in our life, and then we're like, oh shit, then we got to figure out how to come up with a parachute and build a plane before we hit. That's us. That's why we, as together as a team, can kind of be better together. So that's why I went on and on about, I might not be able to answer the question, because I'm getting better too. I still work. I got a job out there drying, so I quick ran in here to talk to you or something, because I want to be better. But I look forward to the questions.
So do
and my next video, Be Better 2, Fighters and Side Hustles, it is geared to those in the fighting industry, the fighting arts, like MMA, boxing, things like that. Not too much wrestling, not into that thing, but you might be, and then you can just see like how I went to events by just doing little centerpieces I made out of some scraps, my leftover materials, throwing them in the dumpster, kind of recycle that into little cool items. And then when you go to these events, people like, what's that made out of? They could trigger something and get you more work and things like that. But you'll learn that in the next video. And if boxing or MMA ain't your thing, I know I also bring up how to make little doggy feeders, toilet seats, football, baseball items, just to help you make a little money. If you're not skilled on saws and things like that, try to, in the meantime, why don't you, take up a little course on how to understand basic woodworking, like, skill saw, table saw, drills, things like that. And if you can't cut, maybe you go to a local cabinet shop and ask for the scraps. Say, cut them in 12 by 12, and then you do all the craft. But then it doesn't matter how badass you are at your craft. If you can't sell these things and get money and pay your bills, you're not going to be able to do your craft anyway. So you really got to get into that business thing so you could continue doing what you love, or else you got to go back to that place where you obviously didn't like. That's why you clicked on here, and I don't want to see that for you. I want you to be better. And again, your future self is dependent on you right now. And I do. I'm weird like that. If you make something, hit me up, man. Say, again, I made this. The glass didn't stick right. I'm here to help, man. Only on YouTube, though. Don't be calling me to come to your house and show you how to do things. You're going to have to pay me some guitas for that, all right? But while we're on YouTube, I have no problem doing that, all right? I want you to be better. But this next video is pretty cool. Check it out. Get better. All right? See you on the next one. Love you guys.